Police stopped a car in North London. At first, it seemed routine, but within hours it unravelled into one of the biggest finds of the year. A bag of heroin, a Scorpion submachine gun, 94 rounds of live ammunition, and over £200,000 in cash. The man behind it all, 29-year-old Azim Akhtar of Cooper Road, Dollis Hill. If you're into real UK crime stories like this, hit subscribe. I post more cases the news barely covers. November 12th, 2020, Chapter Road, Dollis Hill. Officers from the Met's Violent Crime Task Force were on proactive patrol. The team's focus was simple: stop vehicles linked to suspicious activity and cut off weapons before they reached the streets. Around 7 p.m, they pulled over a car driven by Akhtar. 2 other men were passengers. At first glance, it looked like a routine stop. But when officers searched the vehicle, they uncovered a bag containing a large quantity of heroin. That single find changed everything. Akhtar was arrested. The passengers were also taken in for questioning. But detectives suspected the heroin was just the beginning. They moved quickly to search his home on Cooper Road. Inside, officers found what every task force dreads: a hidden stockpile that combined drugs, cash, and firepower. On one side, a Scorpion submachine gun, a compact automatic weapon capable of firing rounds at high speed. Beside it, 94 live rounds of ammunition. Elsewhere in the property, multiple kilos of heroin, cocaine, and crack cocaine. Cannabis packaged for supply. Scales, mixing agents, paraphernalia used to prepare drugs for the street market. And spread across the rooms, bundles of cash. More than £221,000 in total. Not loose notes, but stacks, counted and ready to move. For the Met, it was proof that Akhtar wasn't operating on the street corner level. He was connected, he was trusted, and he was storing money, drugs, and weapons that could fuel violence across London. Detective Constable Ash Harkin, one of the investigating officers, explained it simply. What started off as a proactive vehicle stop ended up leading us to a loaded firearm and many rounds of ammunition. The stark reality is that every bullet we seize could be a life saved. He added, "We know drugs not only cause misery in communities, but also drive a high proportion of the violence we see on the streets. We will continue to relentlessly pursue those who supply them in the capital." Over the following days, searches continued at 3 properties linked to Akhtar. At each, officers found further evidence of supply networks, drugs, packaging, and cash. The Scorpion, however, was the most dangerous piece of all. For context, the Scorpion is a Czech-made submachine gun designed during the Cold War. Compact enough to be concealed, powerful enough to unleash automatic fire in seconds. In the wrong hands, it can devastate in close quarters. And Akhtar didn't just have the weapon. He had almost 100 rounds of ammunition to go with it. 2 other men arrested at the vehicle stop were later released under investigation. But for Akhtar, the evidence was overwhelming. At Westminster Magistrates Court, he was charged with possession of a prohibited firearm, possession of ammunition, possession of criminal property, the cash haul, and multiple counts of possession with intent to supply heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, and cannabis. In March 2021, he pleaded guilty at Harrow Crown Court. On June 11th, the sentence came down, 8 years in prison. The judge weighed the seriousness of the offences: a loaded automatic weapon, Class A drugs, and hundreds of thousands in cash. Even with his guilty plea, the sentence reflected the scale of danger posed. Court officials stressed that this wasn't just about drugs. It was about a man combining supply networks with the means to enforce them violently. Police made clear that Akhtar's conviction was a team effort. The violent crime, task force worked across units, pooling intelligence to act quickly. Their message to the public was firm: reducing violence remains our top priority. Officers are out across London daily, removing dangerous weapons and targeting the drivers of violent crime. For communities in Dollis Hill, the case highlighted the close link between Class A drug supply and violence on London's streets. Every kilo seized is money denied to criminal networks. Every bullet seized is a potential life saved. And for Azim Akhtar, the traffic stop that began with one bag of heroin ended with years behind bars, and the collapse of his network. Akhtar wasn't a kingpin, but he was a link in the chain, the type of operator who keeps drugs, cash, and weapons moving behind the scenes. His downfall shows how one vehicle stop on one ordinary street can expose an entire operation. Sometimes the most dangerous discoveries don't come from raids or major intelligence. They come from a simple patrol at the right time, in the right place.